Welcome everybody. In this one, let's take a look at solving an inequality involving a parabola. So specifically, let's imagine that I'm just going to make one up, that it says that the y should be greater than or equal to 0. So how do we actually solve that? Think about what that says. It says y is greater than or equal to 0. That refers to the y coordinate of any point on the parabola. That is the logical condition. So to do this, let's check a couple times. That might be one of the best things to do. So I'm going to grab this point right here. So right here, the value of y is equal to 4. And I check in the inequality. So for example, is 4 greater than or equal to 0? That is certainly true. That's good. Let's check at this point right here. So here, for example, the value of y is 2, as you can see for yourself. So certainly 2 is greater than or equal to 0. That is true. But then the interesting part is what happens, for example, right here. So let's see. This is the x-intercept. There the parabola goes through the x-axis. The value of the y-coordinate is 0. That's what an intercept basically means. So I know that here y is equal to 0, and I plug that into the inequality and I check it. So is y greater than or equal to 0? Well, that is still true, and that is made true by this part of it right here, to be very clear. Right, it's this part right here, the equal to part, that makes that true. Let's also scroll over to the other side through our parabolic world. And let's check it over here. So for example, here the value of x is 4, but the value of y is again equal to 0. So I check in that inequality. So I'm going to check, is 0 greater than or equal to 0? Well, that is certainly true. So remember, this is our given inequality. Y is greater than or equal to 0. So what it means is go through the parabola, and if nothing else, choose a few sample points. In other words, a few sample y coordinates, and just check them. Now here, if you look at this, you can see that it seems like the portion of the parabola that makes y greater than or equal to 0 true corresponds to this, that I'm kind of tracing over in yellow. And you might be tempted to now put the answer down in a format that somehow involves y, but that is not what the answer usually is given as. Instead, we think in terms of the x-axis. In other words, the values of x that have y-coordinates greater than or equal to 0 as points. So specifically, take a look. So now imagine I focus on this point right here. If I look at that point that has an x-coordinate of 3 and a y-coordinate of 4. So this part, to be very clear, this part makes the inequality true, and the 3 comes down to us from the x-axis, or up from the x-axis if you like. And then you would repeat that pretty much for any other point. Let me just do this one more time. So for example, a point that we can identify easily, like this point right here. Again, at this point, the value of y is 4 and the value of x is 0. So when you talk about the solution to the inequality, you're going to look down to the x-axis right here, where x equals 0. Let me emphasize that. This is x equals 0. So based on this, it's important to reach the correct conclusion, and that is, we want the solution to be an interval that involves x and not y. For that reason, I'm going to begin over here, and I'm going to trace this portion of the x-axis. Why am I doing that? Because for any x that I choose from here, take a look. For any x that I choose from here, the corresponding y-coordinate, which would be at the tip of each arrow, the corresponding y-coordinate is always greater than, you see that? 0. And that occurs for any x that you grab where it's traced over in blue. So let's write the solution down. The solution would look like this. It would go from -1 bracket up to +4 close bracket. That would be the appropriate form of the solution in interval notation. And remember that this describes a domain. In other words, a set of x's, not y's. For any x that you grab from here, from -1 up to 4, for any of these x's, the corresponding y-coordinate on the graph itself is greater than or equal to 0. That is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. It all makes a difference. I hope you've enjoyed our little journey through the parabolic world.